Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fashion Files podcast. This is officially episode 3, which feels so weird. Time is going by so fast, which I feel like time always goes by really fast, but especially with everything schedule wise changing with COVID-19 and not really ever leaving the house. It's especially weird to even hold on to the concept of time right now. So the fact that we're 3 weeks in is so crazy to me. But before we really get into the episode today, I just wanted to do a little self promo because I really love getting feedback from you guys. I would love to hear more about what you want to hear me talk about on the podcast, future guests that you're interested in having me talk to, all of that good stuff. So, if you didn't know, we are on social media at the Fashion Files Pod on Twitter, at the Fashion Files Podcast on Instagram. And then we're also on 6 streaming platforms right now. We're on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. And we're also on YouTube. So whatever streaming platform fits your fancy, we have one for you. So let me know, just let me know some feedback, anything, if you like anything, if you don't like something, let me know for sure since I'm very new to this. And then I know this is going live on Monday, November 2nd, so I did just want to take a quick second, if you are listening to this on the day it goes live, to remind you to vote tomorrow. If you are a U.S. citizen and you are registered to vote, please vote tomorrow. This is probably, I don't even know, the 100th reminder you've been given, but exercise your right to vote, make it fun, put on a cute outfit, do your makeup, wear a cute mask, get yourself all together, go in, or if you voted by mail or earlier, great job, guys. That is just my little reminder I feel like I have to do since this is coming out literally the day before Election Day. So that's my little reminder. Now into our topic for today. We are going to be talking about the Gucci 1961 Jackie bag. This is, I feel like, fall's it bag. I have seen this on so many influencers. I've seen it on celebrities. I just feel like I see it everywhere. I cannot get it out of my mind. It's a bag that I love. I really love Gucci, and I specifically love Alessandro's Gucci, which I'm sure you guys will hear me talk about a ton over the next however many episodes. I really love his vision. I love his creativity, and I love that he's also changing sort of the fashion show cycle for Gucci, only 2 shows a year now. Very exciting. I'm very intrigued by him and his mind. So I feel like it was a good topic today to talk about the Jackie bag because I feel like the history of the bag is something that's really interesting and that probably most people don't know. You see it now and you think, oh, so cool. It's a really trendy bag. It's probably one of the fall it bags, and you're just seeing it everywhere. But today I'm going to take you into sort of the history of the bag and then some of my recommendations for if you're interested in purchasing it and all of that good stuff. So let's get right on into it. So the Gucci 1961 Jackie bag was originally debuted in 1961, and it was designed in the 1950s as originally a unisex bag for anyone to wear, and it's sort of a hobo bag style. If you're listening to this and you think you know what it looks like, but you're sort of still trying to figure it out, definitely look up a picture, or you can probably find it on anyone's Instagram right now. I feel like it's all that I'm seeing. So it was actually originally called the G1244 bag, and in the 70s and 80s, Jackie Kennedy frequently used the bag, and she used it to sort of shield herself from the paparazzi. Since it is sort of a bigger hobo style bag, it was something she could use to sort of cover herself up a bit. And then since everyone saw Jackie Kennedy wearing it and she really brought the bag into the light and really popularized it, Gucci then referred to it as the Jackie bag. And then it's come back into light. So this year in 2020, the bag was officially renamed to the Jackie 1961, and that was at the Men's Fall 2020 show. There were a few changes made from the vintage bag to the bag this year. So one of the things Alessandro did was he used a vintage bag as inspiration. So he used the G1244 bag as inspiration for this new Jackie. So it's a bit more scaled down. I would say the silhouette has definitely scaled down. And then the little piston lock that you see on the bag is now in gold hardware instead of silver. And it comes in tons of sizes. So it comes in minis, mediums, and small. And then it also comes in tons of different patterns, leathers. If you go on the Gucci website, there's this gorgeous python one, there's a cool monogram one, and then there's all sorts of the different colors of the leather, and there's a ton of cool very like pastel colored ones that I've also seen everywhere. I feel like pastel is huge. That's a huge trend right now. So Alessandro has definitely capitalized that. And I like that Alessandro sort of he goes back to Gucci's history and vintage bags and vintage things that we all loved, and he sort of gives us a new take on them. It's an iconic Gucci bag, the Jackie, but it's a new take. It's something fresh. It's not exactly like the ones you're gonna see if you go on eBay or any other secondhand sites and you're trying to find a vintage Jackie. And they're also sold now with a shoulder strap, so you can wear it a little bit longer, and you can also wear it just like typically as a hobo bag with the shorter strap. So, going into more of like the pricing, and if you're looking to buy one, the ones that are out right now, the mini is $1,980, the small is $2,300, and the medium is 2,300. Typically, it depends obviously on material. If you get a python bag, it's definitely going to be more expensive rather than some of the other materials, obviously. My recommendation, if you're really interested in the bag and you love the history of it and you really want to sort of get in on the trend, but you don't want to spend $2,000 because, I mean, we're also in a pandemic, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a hard time to be buying a bag, much less anything, because I just feel like none of us are really leaving the house a ton. So it's hard to justify things. And that's just, it's sort of expensive for a bag, I will admit. So I would recommend going on like any secondhand site. A few of the ones I frequently look at are the Real Real. The Real Real has great stuff. They have like literally anything you could search for. I would also recommend looking at eBay. You could do Depop, all sorts of those secondhand sites, and type in Gucci Jackie bag vintage. You'll find so much. There's a few on my eye and on a little list that I feel like maybe they've just piqued my interest a lot, and maybe I need to pick up one. I'm not sure if I will. As much as I love the bag, I do feel like my purchasing right now has really slowed down a lot because of COVID-19. I'm not going anywhere. It's hard for me to justify things, like I said. So, but if you are interested, I would definitely check them out there. I've seen a ton for like anywhere in between like $200 to like $500, which is obviously a lot cheaper than the ones out right now, but they are going to be a little bit different. The silhouette's going to be a little bit different. And then that piston lock, like I mentioned before, instead of in the gold hardware, it is going to be in the silver hardware, which if that doesn't really bother you, go for it. Get a vintage one. I love buying vintage. I think vintage bags, especially, it's so cool to just like take an hour and look on eBay or the Real Real or wherever and just look for like vintage Gucci or vintage Louis Vuitton, vintage Prada. It's such a fun rabbit hole to go down. And you can find a lot of good deals too, surprisingly. I think things we're seeing now, obviously, tons of things are coming back into fashion, like the Gucci Jackie bag from 1961. We're seeing things coming back from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We're seeing all sorts of stuff coming back. So I think it is definitely reasonable to go on secondhand sites and look and see if you can find something and sort of bring it back and give it a new sort of life. And that is our episode for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and let me know on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you're listening to this what you sort of think of the podcast so far. If you like the format, maybe something you don't like. I'm trying to keep them pretty short in length unless I have a guest on, because I want this to be just like fun little tidbits of information that you guys can listen to on maybe your daily walk or commute, or if you're taking a drive, whatever. I want it to be sort of smaller forms of content. I don't want them to be super long, especially also because it's just me talking to myself. So it's hard in my mind to think of myself talking to myself for like 45 minutes. But I think the short versions of them are really working so far for us. And I like that it is sort of bite-sized content that you can easily listen to and learn something. I think it's really exciting. And I feel like my attention span too maybe isn't the longest. So, and that's probably definitely a trend within today's society. So, definitely let me know what you think about that, and definitely follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and don't forget to vote tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.